Hello, lovely beings! Yes, here is again an episode of Forever Awesome.
Greetings, everyone. Forever Awesome is back in the house.
Yay! Yeah, I'm Janneke Hellebrekers, and I call myself Miss Hellbreaker on social media. And I'm here to help people free themselves. Like, how can you be more free on several topics, like emotionally, mentally, physically, energetically, financially. I want to help everybody be more free. So I'm also a yoga meditation teacher and energy healer. I give courses and I do a lot of videos and podcasts and talks. And this one is especially with my partner. So I'm always very excited to talk with the both of us, to all of you.
Very good, very good. Nice. I am Hydro, Hellbreaker, aka Eclectic Source. I haven't really been posted on my channel, but that's going to be on standby because we're doing this together. I pretty much help who wants to help. As far as waking up and wondering what you're in, what world this is, or what's going on. We don't really have the answer. Nobody has the answer. But we try to make it as comfortable as possible for people going through things that they're going through. Kind of forming a collective or, like-minded when it comes to leaving the system. Yeah, pretty much whoever's going through an awakening, I kind of help them out. I try my best to help them out and do what I can.
Thank you. Because it's not easy going to spiritual awakening, so that's why it's like we want to help people that you don't have to do it alone. There are other people just like you. We've been through it. We are now on the other side, and we know some things that can help you. But we always learning from each other, and that is so we always keep learning. And I just wanted to make a video about we lived in a cult. And recently I made a video. We make videos about all sorts of different topics. And I recently someone says, like, why are you not making more videos about the cult? Because there are still like not so nice things maybe going on there, and also to help people.
So in other words, cults are still happening no matter what. They're still going on. We went to one and experienced it, right?
Yeah, but we still want to share about it. Just to raise more awareness.
Because it's still happening.
Yeah, and this whole society is one big cult anyway. But also to be more aware of it, because it's something that can happen to anybody. And I also saw, after going away, a lot of documentaries about cults and people that were drawn into it. And I want to share more about it, what it is, and how you can really see it for what it is. And it had to happen for us to learn from this experience and also to get to know each other.
Yes, indeed. So all went as according to plan. Our plan, partially. Most High's plan, definitely.
It's all needed to be what it is.
It's all divine.
Yeah, it's all needed to be. But it was not easy in the moment, and to find out, hey, this is not just a conscious community where we are co-creating a new way of living. And in the beginning I thought so. I thought like, I can give yoga here, give healings. I live on top of a mountain in nature. I was living in a bell tent. I was ecstatic at the beginning. And like so many amazing, inspiring people from all over the world. We're eating vegan from professional chefs. We were singing around the campfire, people, really good singers. They made CDs.
They made some good albums.
They made some good music.
Yeah, they did make some really, really good albums.
And in the beginning it was all really, really amazing. But then there's more things like discussions with people and clashes with people and saying, they don't have the right energy, and people that were a bit ostracized.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just like you said before, it started off it wasn't a cult. It was just it was a nice community we lived in, and everything was going very well, like you were saying. I noticed a change with the meetings. Okay, we're gonna go there. Not only did they have meetings very frequently, but the time they took for each meeting it just got longer and longer and longer until they were in the hours, literally.
Discussions all the time.
Yeah, and I felt like whatever they were trying to do, or telling us they were trying to do as far as building the community, it really just took away a lot of our time. We could be building things, like, I guess, like, for tents, everybody needed, like, a deck to be built out of wood. And, like, we were taking care of that at the beginning. We were doing what we're supposed to be doing to build this community. But then, like, the meetings came in, and then it's like you didn't even have time to do any of this stuff. So it's almost as if you noticed them having an interest in not really building, but more of control, and something more into it, that went into it, which we're going to discuss more of that.
Yeah, they really want to make you, like, they really want, like, followers that do what they want to do. Because they were even actually saying, like, yeah, we can't live free, even though they were singing about living free. They were singing about it, and then they were like, yeah, we can't be free yet. We first need to build, and you first need to work so many hours a day. And they said, like, yeah, and then later we will be free. And I
work hard now and then be free later.
Yeah, work hard now, and you have to do everything for the kingdom, in service for the kingdom. And they want you to work, like, even get up very early, work all day because you're in service. And but there were other people not always working. No. So it's like really like it was like really strange. And I love to help. I did a lot of things. Of course. And some people still didn't think it was enough. But it was really strange. They want you to be busy all the time, so you don't gonna, like, question things. And they also want to, like, make sure that you want to, like, obey their rules, and add more and more rules. And it was, like, really strange at one point. You're like, but it was like some red flags was already in the beginning. But someone told me before going, she says, like, don't say too much too early, because I'm quite a rebel. I'm like quite outspoken. So I was like, with that intention, I went in there. Like, I just want to see it for what it is. But I saw other people, like, having big discussions with each other, and I'm like, what is this? And also some strange rules, like you couldn't have just friends over, family, and all sorts of regulations, and people couldn't just come by. They need to make an appointment, and they needed to know who, and some people couldn't even come by. And but it's like it was really restricted from the beginning. But I had, like, oh, we'll see. Because for the most part it was really amazing. But then they came into, like, we had like a day that they were celebrating that they, like, existed so long, and then we had all kaftans made with hemp, and then after that they said, no, you have to wear this every day.
I'm gonna go into that real quick.
Yeah. I was like,
first, there's a lot of red flags. First, one of my red flags is, like, the meetings when somebody didn't agree with anything. There's a lot of demonizing towards a person, and they would, like, do it, and, like, it's almost like they weren't even guilty that they were doing it. They knew they were doing it, and they were enjoying it. It seemed like they were enjoying it to me. As far as, like, for doing it for the kingdom, when they say for the kingdom, any personal problem that any individual had at this camp, I'm gonna call it a camp, it seemed like it didn't matter what your issue was going through, or they could help you with anything. It's just like, well, it's just not for the kingdom. Like, say, for instance, if, like, one of the tents, you know, it was ripped and with water was coming in, or somebody was cold, they'll try to help you, you know, fix that, but, like, it had to be more for the kingdom. Like, anything you wanted to do had to be for the kingdom. So basically what I'm saying here, it didn't really matter as an individual for the person. And they have that backwards, because the kingdom will be the individual person. I mean, that's just where it is. Because if you can't tend to each individual person or address any issue that they have or to bring to you, well, there is no kingdom. Like I said before, there's no kingdom without the individual. Now, as far as the kaftan, that was very interesting. It was cool. The one we had, kind of strange. But it was just in general. It was like an identification type of clothing for the kingdom of Pineal. I shouldn't have said the name.
It's okay. You can say the name. I just thought, like, I didn't say the name yet. So, but I don't mind.
Before they said for the kingdom, but it was some clothing that identified them. But then they were like you said, with the rules. They would come with the rules, and they were trying to get people to wear these. And I think it's more or less about wearing them, and more or less who can they get to do what they want to do. So I felt like it was more like, you need to wear this. I felt like it was more of like, how far can we push these people in control, and who will stick with it, who won't, and then whoever continues to wear these, We know we control them, we'll deal with them, and then we'll try to like maybe not deal too much or be connected to the ones that don't want to wear these things every day. You know, I could kind of understand this, but at the same time, it didn't make any sense because you only had one, and the work you're doing, you can't just wear one set of clothing the entire time. You have to wash your clothing. That's what I would do. So I'm like, hey, if you guys give me 2 more, if you want, I'll wear this thing every day. But it was more of a show of control. Like if you got it and you're wearing it every day, they got you under control. They know who the rebels are, not really rebels, but they know who's not gonna like follow directly what they want. Even if it doesn't make any sense, they know who's gonna like, basically they know who's gonna obey and who isn't.
Yeah, that was really to see who is gonna obey. So at one point they said like you can only come to the meetings when you have to when you were like having the kaftan on, or you can only come to the singing when you have the kaftan on. And we had also several people that were not singing, and suddenly they said the singing is obligatory. And that was one of the first times I spoke out. It was like someone that doesn't want to sing, they don't have to come. That found for me it was really strange, but I was there had some rules, but I was still thinking like, oh, they just started this, they're just figuring this out, how to do this whole thing. And then someone said I met someone who was there years before, and he says like,
yeah, basically we met somebody that was like, we went to a location meet up with some friends that we just met, and they were prior occupants of this place that we went to, and they had left before we got there. I guess a while ago, and they had experienced all this stuff.
Yeah, they said that like for years ago they were doing the same things with people, and I was like quite shocked. I was shocked, and then he also said, watch that movie How to Be a Cult Leader on YouTube. It was a short video, How to Be a Cult Leader, and in that evening we were watching it. And it was about love bombing in the beginning, like, oh, you're everybody's family. That was a bit like that, like, oh, this is our family.
That, the free meal.
Love, like love bombing, like manipulating, like saying like it's your problem when they're like this. That was also really the gaslighting and manipulating. If you were like, if someone was rude to you and you were like responding back rude, they say it was your problem. They say like, oh, you have trauma, and it was like the people
you're living rent free, or they try to offer you the free food. And so if you didn't like something, they can use that against you. Anything they gave to you as an offering would be used against you later on.
And they were like manipulating you and gaslighting you and saying that you were the problem, and I'm like, you were the problem in the first place. And they took no accountability or responsibility for it. They were like always deflecting it. It was really interesting. Only now after, of course, I know there were some psychopaths and some master manipulators.
There was a lot of,
and like, I only know that man later on. In the moment when you're in it, you feel like you start questioning your own thoughts. Well, and that is also what that video said. Like first a love bombing, then a manipulation, then trying to get you like saying like, oh yeah, we know each other from past life, or like this from past lives, and you are very special, like we are the kings and queens, and
manipulation. That's the
form. So making like you feel like very special, and then they have all sorts of rules, and as soon as you don't follow the rules, they cast you out a bit, and that is exactly what happened. And I was looking at that video and was like,
they did the same thing in the video. Lots of spiritual bypassing as well. Whether it's spiritual or not, there's multiple occasions when they just bypass constantly. Like if they know they'll have the answer to everything, it's automatically bypassed. They're like, well, I'm not gonna give an example, but like maybe I will. I'll give us an example. Like you're
I don't know, not call names. And
no names. No, of course not. You'll be asking like, yeah, are we gonna do this tomorrow? And they'll be like, yes, of course, because the energy and the mind, says it has to be done tomorrow. I'm like, what kind of an answer? You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't have that problem, so
I'm not gonna give up. You said no name. We know somebody that's really, really, well, to some people he's good at bypassing, but me, I just see right through the smoke.
Yeah, so
And like they see some silly stuff.
yeah, but in the beginning we didn't know. There was people coming and people going and people coming and going. So there was all the time people leaving, and I didn't know it in the beginning. And like he already knew before me that things were not going great. And people wanted to say to him like, come with us, and he was like, no, she doesn't know yet. She doesn't. She's still having fun there. I was still giving yoga to the children.
Let me explain that.
And cooking. I loved cooking.
I'll explain that one because you landed on it.
Yeah.
As far as like, I knew because of what you were, wanting to say. Like basically, I was following them before I got there. At least a year and a half prior, I had been following them before I got to the camp. And I noticed in each episode of the video, there was a different collection of people that were there. And then I'd see like 2 videos later, I see like a different group. And a few videos later, another group. But I would always see the same 3 or 4 people, including the leader. And I'm like, why is it? And I would call it the core group. I'm like, why is the core group always there? But why are these people there and then they're not there? So I didn't know. It should have been a red flag, but I was like, I'm going anyway. I don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And me, after waking up and becoming vegan and cleansing myself, I was thinking maybe it's just that, do my inner work, my shadow work. I was thinking maybe they just didn't do the work. Maybe that's why they go in and find out what it is and then they leave. So I'm like, I'm going to try it out anyways.
Mm-hmm. They always said the people leaving were the people that were traumatized, that were not healed yet. But the people that were the most healing were the people running this whole show.
Yeah, and you get trauma being there.
But that is so bad. I feel like you want to make a safe haven for people that already been through a lot in their lives, and then you re-traumatize them even worse. And of course you could say, you were already traumatized now. Yeah, but I don't think you need to make it worse for people.
I don't know if they noticed it.
There were some people treating people really, really bad. Yeah. But I really think they had like a blind spot, like an ego. Yeah. They really thought they knew the truth because they did so many meditation. Some people really thought they know the truth, but they had a huge blind spot ego going on. And I sometimes think like some people had a good intention beforehand, but then they got distracted by money and power and women.
Money and power, all that survival mode came and hit because we went through that winter season. And come to think of it, I noticed like around the winter season there was always a new group, and they wanted us to go basically. Yeah. But like the winter came in and they totally just they transformed on us, and like their darkness they couldn't hide it no longer. It just came out.
Yeah, so it was really it was really strange. Like people, what I heard people say about others behind their backs, it's like I was angry at that one time. And they were like, it's your trauma. It's like, no, this is not high school.
Yeah, it's high school, man.
And it was really, and there were people that were really nice and they were talking about their backs. And there was also one person who found out it's like they embezzled quite some money. They get a lot of donations, and at one point they missed a lot of money, and then the 2 leaders were like accusing each other because no one knows where the money was. So it's like there's so much things going on.
One's like his. I don't know.
There were several leaders. But it's like they were like
I would just call it.
They couldn't even trust each other.
The core group.
Yeah, they couldn't even trust each other. And as soon as the person made that known, they took him out of the thing, like organizing it. Like he did the secretary.
Are you talking about the other guy?
Yeah. So as soon as he made that, or like the awareness, like, hey, there's some money away here.
All right, so here, let me explain that real quick.
They took him away from it.
There was a leader and a guy from the core group. And they were like, the income, they was just, I don't know what they were doing with it, but there was something wrong what they were doing. And then another person that we met there, a really good friend of ours, a really cool person, and his family, he was working in their admin, and he discovered some of these financial discrepancies. And they didn't like that he discovered them, and they removed him from the admin administration.
Yeah. So that's why it's like there's like some really shady things were going on. And they were not very open about these things. I'm very much open and honest about everything, but it was quite clear that they were like the core group was like talking about things, organizing things, and then they came to the meetings already with the agenda and how they wanted to have things. And one time they were also saying, these people need to be governed because they need leaders. I'm like, no, I want to be free. That's why I want to be here. And then they like saying that I need to be governed. Like it was like at one point you were like, is this real? Where did I end up now? But a lot of people didn't even see what was happening. They were like, it's almost like you're being brainwashed. Like, and people really like looking up to the leaders, putting them on a pedestal, thinking whatever they're saying is true. So I saw also a lot of people like starting to question themselves, and like especially like young women. They were really manipulated.
Oh yeah, they were.
I am glad that I had you, because
yeah, I'm glad I was there.
and that I'm not afraid to speak my mind.
Yeah,
That's like it's great, because a lot of women were really they shut them up. Some women really hot, like in a nasty way.
They seemed like they were easily manipulated, and not to the point where like they actually conformed and joined and would like carry out some orders that he had, or just behave a certain way that they wanted him to behave. It was so strange. Like you're one of the few that did not. There was a few of us that all of us, most of us men, and then some of you women, and then most of the women actually went and were manipulated, and a few wasn't, and none of the guys were really manipulated except for the youngsters, the real youngsters.
Yeah, and there were some really nasty things said also. But after we went away, there's more people went away, and only after they went away, they said sorry to us, because they were also manipulated and they were like seeing us in a certain way. So we got quite some messages, people that were sorry how they treated us while they were there. But only after you are away, like after you gain your own mind back, because it's a form of mind control and brainwashing, you're like, these people were actually just all the time very nice and just helpful and wanted.
Who knows? Maybe they went through what we went through, because once we all left, we left. They were, the leader was still there, and then you have them, and then they were laughing because they did a video after that where they were laughing at, I see it at his tent. They were like outside, and laughing about everybody, not who they left and who they got rid of, and this, that, and the other. But then that core group, they were the ones that were left there. And it's not like that leader was going to change anything. He still wanted to be his ways, you know what I mean? And they were there to deal with it. Now they're dealing with each other.
But they're not changing their ways. They're not learning.
So that's why some of them were like trying to leave. That's why some of them just were like, you know what? We're not going to get help. And that's why some of them, they started leaving. Some of the core group broke up and they left up out of there.
So people really left because they saw they're not going to change their ways. They're not even learning from their mistakes. So they were like totally not accountable, responsible, or whatever way. You can't change them. Like it was really crazy. So the only way you could do is leave. So we left. We actually packed up all belongings in the middle of the night, and we got a friend with a big jeep, and we said to be out of here. Because I didn't want to go one day longer, because they were like more nasty.
It was. I'm gonna say it straight up. It was just too demonic. Yeah. It became very demonic. We just got up out of there.
And when the gig's up, they know if they know that and they don't want you to tell anybody else. So they're really not so nice to you anymore.
Because it's their hustle, and the way they get people in and get their income, they need people to not know what they're doing, because that's how they eat. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna knock them for their hustle. That's just how they do it. But the only thing is, they're gonna get karma for it, because you can't be hurting people while you're trying to do your thing.
Yeah, so this is something that they do deliberately. In spring, they get new people in. Summer, everything is amazing, and then fall, winter, they start putting rules and stuff and make it more difficult. So people leave, and so in the spring they get new people with their resources, meaning money.
They actually said this in the meeting.
What they exactly said in the meeting. Yeah. New people and their resources are coming. And I was like, no, they really say it. They really say it.
So I think we're group number 5 or 6, I don't know. And they probably got to 7 or 8 right now. So.
But now there are not so many people anymore. But I also don't check them anymore. But there's less people. The police raided them. People went away, and the gig is up. Like we also made a video on YouTube. It's even seen more than 2,000 times on my YouTube channel. It's called my YouTube is Miss Hellbreaker. And we had a video on there, I will check the link is underneath here anyway. And there we share with several people what happened, our experiences there. Our experience at the Pineal Kingdom or Pineal Foundation. I want the
at the
videos.
community.
Yeah, and but it's like we shared that, and more than 2,000 people saw it. But I heard already before that the leader was already in the podcast was ousted. So I think this already going round that this is full fake and fake guru and false light, and this person has just a huge ego. It's like,
Well, what was that part?
but he has a huge ego.
Oh, huge ego. Okay.
Yeah, it's really like, for me it's really strange. Like of course, like I still have like the idea I want to live in a community, but I want everybody to be equal and
I think a lot of them had that ego, that huge ego
yeah,
there.
I want everybody to be equal and learn from each other, and not one person above someone else and then calling the shots, or we are the leaders.
That's why I would like to add something to this.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of us, as you know, the so-called 2024 times we're in now. A lot of us that are waking up or already awake or like-minded are going to be not per se go into a community, but kind of live that lifestyle, break free from the system.
It's nice to live in nature.
Yeah, it is. So what's going to happen is there are going to be a lot of communities out there to join, but you just need to be really careful, because you can just, if you're awake like we are, you know what I'm talking about. You can see, we interview with a lot of communities to see what they're about, because we want to go to another one. But like we check them thoroughly. We see right through them. We see what they are.
Now
And
we do.
Yeah. Well, after that one. So I instantly know. Maybe I don't know if I know before you or whatever, but I instantly know by having a conversation if it's Babylon itself trying to come out and set up a community, and then, like, you know, it could be pricing if it's very, very high up there. It's just a system trying to come out there and trick you into getting into that system, another wave, because they know that system's breaking, so they want to create another system. And then you have the spiritual community, off-grid, maybe off-grid and spiritual community at the same time. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're going to look for a community, just be very careful and make sure you interview them like they want to interview you, but make sure you get deep into, you know, to interviewing people and find out what's really about, find out what resources they have, what kind of structures they have for you to live in, if they're tents, if they're cabins, whatever they are. Make sure you find everything out, your location and what season you're going to be in, because winter can be very rough. And it's nice in summertime, but it's the same thing. Every winter, it gets too cold, people just leave, things happen, and it never works. It never seems to work, especially this place, because like they have the high turnover rate.
Yeah, people really are like, people that are around living there, they didn't know exactly what was happening there. There were really, some people knew, some people didn't. But after we went away, everybody knew, because we went to several markets and I knew a lot of people, so I told everybody. But it's really strange. Like, they have a huge following on Instagram and YouTube, and the leader comes across very inspirational. But once you're there, he doesn't share much, and it's like.
Then his minions are just there. I won't say well,
yeah.
And they're there, like, you go there thinking he's gonna share knowledge with you that you learned from before, because he puts out great videos. But then it's just them. You get there and you're like, who are these high school children over here trying to tell me what to do over here? Stuff like that. This is real strange, and it really shows up.
Yeah.
It really shows
so
up.
it's like, it's not. We told everything already, lots of things already in the video that we shared already before, but we were with more people, and I also didn't want to put too much of myself in there. But it was really painful for me. Like, it was sad afterwards. Like, you think you know the people, and they are sort of like family, and then they betray you like this behind your back in such a way. And so it was a quite painful experience in the beginning. I was really sad and had to let that go, and to move on, to look to the forward. And for me, that making that video then was also a way of letting it go, and that's why I made the video. But now I also want to share a bit more in depth about it, so people understand more about it. And I also want to grow on people, because this was like, people want to go out of the normal society matrix, and then they find the one that's even more controlling. So I just want to share about making the awareness.
Just like the system.
Yeah, awareness about it.
Yeah. Always be careful who you align yourself with, and be careful who you put up there that you think is going to be the one to teach everyone, because a hierarchy is never a good idea. The first red flag is like, everybody needs to be the leader at the same time. Everybody needs to be their own individual leader. Like, everybody has to have their own household as well. But as soon as you start going to somebody and this one is supposed to be leading, that's already a big issue. That's already going to turn into something. Always does, always has. So just be careful who you guys are. If you want to go into a community, who you're signing on with. And just always make sure you're okay. Check your finances. Don't dump all your finances onto something or into something. And just make sure you have, your plan from A to Z. Whatever whatever language you speak, whatever alphabet you use. The first letter to the last. Make sure you have a plan all the way through. Because you're not, if it don't work, you need to have all types of things lined up for you to get you out, get you where you need to be at. That's all.
And I hope that we can have, if people comment on this, be respectful, because on the other one, on the video, I needed to stop the comments on that because a lot of people were not respectful and they were saying like some nasty things, and it became personal. But we really want to share. We share mostly here facts that actually happened, and people say like they glorifying them without even knowing what happened inside. So I just want to ask to be respectful in the comments, and otherwise I will put them out.
Yeah, see, I look at it like this. I say whatever sometimes because like respectful is good. You need to be respectful, but it's more or less for everybody else that wants to comment, and they might have some like good experiences that they leave in the comments or some good information that they might want to share, and like somebody just cuts the line for everybody to get the comment out there, so we don't even get to see it or hear it when somebody comes in incorrectly. Or we could just maybe chop them off of there, but then if it's a lot of work, because we're not moderators, we're not the moderators. If it becomes too overwhelming with too much work, we just stop them. That's what we have there. But it, like I said, it short changes everybody else that wants to say something and get something out there because they might have an experience similar to ours or different or just some information.
It's also for other people to share about it because this can happen to anybody, and that's what we also want to say. It can happen to anybody.
Yeah, you just have to be careful. And even if you don't have all the answers, you don't know everything, and you're going to the community, you might experience something like this, and that's okay because you could still learn from it. We've learned from what we went through.
Yeah, so we see it also a learning experience, but we still want to share it to raise awareness. And everybody, thank you very much for watching.
We good, thanks everyone.
And we'll talk about all different themes. So everything is something else, like health, detox, or adventures in Mexico, spiritual awakening. Like we have different topics. But this was one of the topics that really, we got to know each other there. So
yeah, that was perfect. A lot of things turned out really nice. We met a whole bunch of people from all over the world that have become really nice, good family friends to us. And we try our best to stay in contact with them every now and then if we can.
Yeah, so thank you!
Give thanks everyone. Love, light, peace, power, and happiness.
Bye-bye.